All right. All right. Shalom, shalom. Before I get started, I want to say Barakatha Yahweh, Barakatha Yahweh Shai, Barakatha Yahweh, Barakatha Yahweh Shai, Barakatha Yahweh, Barakatha Yahweh Shai. All praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the elders at Great Millstone who taught me this truth. And shalom, peace, blessings, and safety. All right, to sincere brothers and sisters out there. All right. I wanted to make a little land back inspired off of this lesson done by the elder Yashar Wanba. All right. The title of the lesson is "The Haughty People of the Earth Do Languish." Okay, which is a scripture from the book of Isaiah. Okay, and you see these people, these Jake women, as well as others, crashing out. All right, because the economy is so bad. Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai is putting such a squeeze on Babylon before he fully breaks it down. All right, the mirth of the land is completely gone. All right, this is no more, the fun party Babylon. All right, where there's all kind of fun festivities and little, wicked, worldly events to get involved in. Where you go commit adultery and take drugs and all this stuff of the world. It's not fun to these people anymore. And call halal Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai for calling us out of that darkness, all right, into this glorious gospel, all right? But, excuse that. Nevertheless, I wanted to go into some of these, concepts, all right, of how through these Babylonians are, all right, and how we have a more righteous, a perfect world coming, all right? And that's, something I wanted to, edify on, and Lord's will comfort you, you brothers and sisters out there. Excuse me, because we're supposed to, Salakia, we're supposed to, comfort and exhort one another with these scriptures. All right. So I had Googled what percentage of Americans are overweight. I said overweight. Yeah. What percentage of Americans are overweight? The AI overview tells me approximately 73.6% of adults in the United States are either overweight or obese, which obese means like very overweight. All right, I think everybody knows that, Anyways, according to the CDC, this includes 41.9% who are classified as obese. Excuse me, so close to half of all Americans are obese. All right, what does that word obese mean? So look it up. Obesity is a medical condition considered by multiple organizations to be a disease in which excess body fat has accumulated to such an extent that it can potentially have negative effects on health. All right. Excuse me. People are technically classified as obese when their body mass index, a person's weight divided by the square of the person's height, is over 30 kg over, I think, meter squared. All right, the range 25 to 30 kilograms per meter squared is defined as overweight, which is stupid because you have muscle. If you have muscle, if you have like any considerable size of muscle and you're a man, you're going to be considered overweight even if you're lean. But that's besides the point. America is a very overweight, fat country, and please forgive the sniffles. I'm Salakia. I know it's a little off-putting or whatever, but Salakia. Then I said, what percentage of Americans have mental illness? All right, which really is demons, but regardless, according to the National Institute of Mental Health, approximately 23.1% of Americans, adults aged 18 or older, experienced a mental illness in the past year. All right, this translates to about 59.3 million people. So these people are through. All right, they're all sick, fucked up, depressed, Slacky. They're all messed up and depressed and all psychotic. They have demons on them. All right, they're all full of these meds. They haven't pooped in 3 days. All right, they have all kinds of chemicals in their body. All right, they're eating plastic. All right, they're through. All right. I said, what percentage of Americans take prescriptions? I said, what percentage of Americans are on medication? All right, it says, according to the CDC, in 2021, approximately 64.8% of adults aged 18 years or older in the United States, Babylon, reported taking at least one prescription medication in the past 30 days. All right. So that's a lot of people. That's the majority of people here in Babylon are taking these pharmacus, all right? Sorcery, all right? Pharmakia, okay? These prescription pills and stuff, all right? Let's get these scriptures. And please forgive the sniffles. No, it's not killing me. Get a little drink. All right, Salakia. But this is Matthew 5 and 6. It says, "Blessed are they which do hunger and thirst after righteousness, for they shall be filled." And we're going to be filled in the kingdom, when that righteous rulership is established and we're no longer living underneath these goddamn devils, all right? So we're hungering and thirsting after righteousness, all right? A righteous rulership on planet Earth, okay? Let's get Revelation 21:1. "And I saw a new heaven and a new earth, for the first heaven and the first earth were passed away, and there was no more sea." All right, so, there's going to be a new heaven and a new earth, all right? Like it says in 2 Peter 3:13, all right? "Nevertheless, we, according to his promise, look for new heavens and a new earth wherein dwelleth righteousness." All right, and that's going to happen. All right, it's prophecy that it happens, okay? The Most High is not a man that he should lie, so this prophecy of the kingdom of heaven is also going to come to pass, all right? And it's going to be a righteous rulership on planet Earth, all right? No more, no more of this madness here in America, all right? Everything we just went into, all this obesity and pills and you got to work 2-3 jobs, all right? Now, we are going to have the heathens in captivity, all right? And after the 1,000-year period, Esau will be completely wiped away as a people. Okay, but even the heathens, after that 1,000-year captivity, the Moabites and the Hamites, the Ammonites, the Japhites, they're going to be set back in their own land, and they're going to have righteous governors ruling over them, all right? And if they're in order, and if they're doing what they're supposed to do, all right, they're not following after idols, they're following after our God, the true and living God, Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai, and they're not, offending the law to the best of their ability, then they're going to be blessed, all right? They're not going to be suffering like this, all right? But we are going to beat them over the head till they learn righteousness, all right? This is Isaiah 65 and 17. It says, "For behold, I create new heavens and a new earth, and the former shall not be remembered nor come into mind," right? This is going to be a distant memory. This is going to be like a bad dream, Let's get Sirach 10:8. It says, "Because of unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches got by deceit." And that's how Esau has gotten his riches, by deceit, all right? Unrighteous dealings, injuries, what he did to the tribe of Gad, Judah, all right? Ephraim, all the tribes, all right? How he put our people in slavery, slaughtered us, all right? Completely, raped, robbed, and pillaged the whole world, all right? Reading on, "The kingdom is translated from one people to another." And what people are we talking about? 2 Ezra 6:9. "For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth." All right, so these Edomites are going to be in power at the end of the world when Yahweh Shai comes back, and Jacob is going to be the Israelites, us, the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, and their descendants who may not look like them, all right, are going to be in power in the world that follows, all right, Yahweh Shai's world, okay, the kingdom of heaven, all right. So I just wanted to bring those scriptures out, I pray that was comforting. We do have a world coming full of righteousness, all right? So I'm going to say all praises to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the elders at Great Millstone, taught me this truth. Shalom to you brothers and sisters out there. Shalom.